up, everyone? Welcome to the Casual Wrestling Podcast, the #1 rated wrestling podcast for casual wrestling fans. I am NerdyD. You are part of the CWC, and we have a lot to talk about tonight. Each week, we dive deeper into 4 of wrestling's biggest questions. If you like what you hear, make sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons on YouTube or add us on your favorite podcast network. Tonight, we are talking about letting the wrestling gods choose a mixed tag team partner for us. We are creating a WWE Forbidden Door style pay-per-view, and I'm answering one listener question from the mailbag. But first, a little bit of housekeeping before we start the show. So we're a week into the season 3 of the Casual Wrestling new content schedule. And if you've checked out the YouTube page, we're kind of exploding in growth right now. The new format of these shows seems to be working. It seems to be resonating with existing listeners and new listeners combined. So we're starting to see a pickup in the analytics. We dropped the Champ and the Chick last week, and that was absolutely my favorite show to record. It's doing way better than we imagined it would do. The Monday night and Friday night post shows are doing extremely well. The Payback post shows doing well. So everything's kind of rolling. I'm enjoying this new version of the content schedule, where I want to reiterate, this show, typically where you're used to it being topical, this show is going to move away from being topical. This show is going to be more fantasy style booking, hypotheticals, bracket fights, things of that nature. If you enjoyed the kind of like X's and O's, ranty, nerdy D style of wrestling talk, you're going to want to listen to the Friday night and Monday night post shows. That's where I do more of the critiquing and talking shit. This show's going to kind of transition into something a little bit more, I'd say, fantasy booking, fun, lighthearted, 4 topics a week. We'll break them down and we'll just have fun. It'll be much more laid back than it has been in the past. Want to go on record here. The merch store is officially live right now. All merch is brought to you by print-on-demand service Printify. I tried to find a balance between high-quality shirts and affordable prices on the shirts. So, like I said, I just make the designs. I post them to the website. They do all the hard work. They do the printing, the shipping. They make most of the money. So, if you want merch, go get it. It's not something that I'm pushing. It's not something that I'm relying on the income. I just want it to be available if anybody wants to represent the show. So you can find the merch by going to thenewcasualwrestling.com and clicking the merch button. And this is kind of a soft launch. I need your guys' feedback. Tell me what you like and don't like about the designs, about the website, and so we can build it so as the community grows, that can be kind of an efficient process for people to buy merchandise. Now, I will say, I know the last couple weeks I've been absent from the Discord, but it's because I am hard at work at creating content right now. I'm kind of in content mode, and I'm recording 4 times a week and editing nonstop. Every day I'm editing. This is a full-time job at this point for me. So I don't know in the next couple months that I will be as heavily involved in the Discord as I usually am. I will pop in from time to time, but it looks like the Discord can live without me. I will post new content in there. I will try to, keep the conversation going every so often. But, as this channel grows, my time becomes more limited. I have to invest more time into the Twitter community. I have to invest more time into the YouTube community and the Instagram community. And building, websites and merch websites. So I'm getting pulled into 1,000 different directions. And I'm actually right now working on something that may change the casual community forever. It's something big, something that I don't think any other podcast is doing. So I'll probably talk about that a couple months from now, but I'm just giving a heads up that a lot of work is going into this. But that does leave me with one kind of last housekeeping thing, and that is, if you are interested in becoming the Casual Wrestling Discord community manager, somebody who can go in and police the Discord, who can, keep everybody in line with what the rules are, I can't pay you. This isn't a paid opportunity, but I can promise to shout you out on a weekly basis and I'll send you one casual wrestling t-shirt, whichever shirt you want of your choice. If you're interested, make sure to email me at nerdyd@casualwrestlingcommunity.com. That's nerdyd@casualwrestlingcommunity.com. Let's jump into topic number one. So I thought it would be fun, with all of the drama going on in the world of wrestling, to kind of take a minute to imagine what would happen if one day Triple H wakes up and says, fuck it, I'm opening the Forbidden Door. Like, let's do a premium live event. Anyone's welcome to come wrestle inside of a WWE ring, right? Now, I'm not a big cross-promotional guy. You guys know this. I swore off AEW last week. I didn't watch any AEW this week. I'm skipping over articles. But I do believe that 90% of marketable wrestlers are in WWE. That's just reality. But there are a couple guys in other promotions that I think are viable options that maybe even overachieve in those other companies. I think like guys like Moxley, they have a hard time finding a permanent home within WWE. And we can argue whether that's based on, that's a WWE thing holding them back or if WWE just has a very strict formula that they know works on a mass global basis. But for the sake of this segment, this fantasy booking segment, I want to set a few ground rules, okay? I'm booking this in the WWE style of premium live events, which means I'll give a couple matches stipulations. I'll put a couple titles on the line, but more than likely, I'm not trying to book every best wrestler from each company into a match. There are going to be people left off of this card. And so what I'm trying to make is compelling matches and create an event that flows from beginning to end. So with that said, since this is a WWE Forbidden Premium Live event, all matches will include at least one WWE superstar to tie it to the WWE brand. So this is going to be tough. The first thing you have to decide when you create a premium live event is how many matches are going to be on your card. 3 hours. We're doing a 3-hour show. I don't like anything longer than 3 hours. I tend to believe that 7 to 8 matches is the sweet spot. So then you have to consider, right, the titles that are going to be on the line, because you can't have 7 to 8 title matches. There has to be an ebb and flow, right? Things have to you have to check the energy in the building, make sure there's not crowd fatigue. So I'm trying to balance this out. And then I'm going to try and balance this by getting enough women's talent on the card, so it's not just a sausage fest, right? So what I'm trying to do here is put together 8 matches that flow for a premium live event. So I'm going to start, let's open the show. I want to come out of the gates with the crowd hyped up. I want to put the AEW world title on the line. Opening match. Holy shit, here we go. There's a chance that the following Monday on Monday Night Raw, the AEW champion shows up on Monday Night Raw because it's won by a WWE superstar. So I want the energy. I want the storytelling. I want to set the tone. Fans are just getting in their seats. The first thing I want them to hear as the lights kind of go dim is I want to hit Cody Rhodes' theme song. I think he's the guy that blurs the lines between the two companies. So you hit that Cody Rhodes theme song. You get that huge pop. You get that giant. You get the mystique that Cody was never supposed to be AEW champion again, that Cody was never going back to WWE again. You get all these, there's more questions than answers with Cody Rhodes. And you get the fear from the IWC that, holy shit, Cody Rhodes not only could become AEW champion, but he could show up on Monday Night Raw with that title. Cody gets to the ring. I'm not announcing these matches pre-show, by the way. These are just happening. This is all going to be a surprise for my crowd. Everybody looks back up at the stage. MJF's music hits. You have him come out playing babyface MJF. We're going to do this interesting. You have him come to the ring, high-fiving people. He gets in the ring. He looks at Cody. He sticks his hand out. They shake hands. They hug it out in front of 94,000 fans in attendance, because I'm damn sure setting an attendance record. If Tony Khan can do it, I know damn well that NerdyD is setting the attendance record with this WWE Forbidden Door premium live event. So the match goes on. It's a solid match. 15 minutes. And towards the end of the match, MJF turns on Cody Rhodes with the help of Chris Jericho. So Chris Jericho has found his way out from under the ring, slides MJF the diamond ring. We start off the show, MJF hitting Cody Rhodes diamond ring, 1, 2, 3. All of a sudden, the crowd a little bit uneasy because we're starting out a WWE Premium Live event and AEW is up 1-0 thanks to Chris Jericho. And you get Chris Jericho getting in the ring, cutting a promo, basically saying, if you WWE marks think that you guys can out wrestle AEW tonight, you're out of your mind. So we go to a couple video packages and then we come back and we're immediately going to roll that into a Fatal 4 tag team match. And what we're going to do here is we're going to do Alpha Academy, we're going to do Street Profits, we're going to do the Acclaimed, and we're going to do the Lucha Brothers. And this is going to be one of those crazy energy matches here that just, we came out of that kind of moment, and now it's just going to be pure energy. This is just going to be a wild and crazy match. Lots of big spots, lots of high action. But once again, as this match starts to wind down, Chris Jericho is going to appear once again. More shenanigans. He's going to get involved. He's going to cost the Street Profits the match. The Acclaimed are going to get the pin. All of a sudden, AEW's up 2-0. Holy shit. What's going on here? This is supposed to be this is a Triple H Premium Live event. AEW cannot continue to dominate, right? So we see Chris Jericho walking up the ramp. He's laughing, kikiing. He gets through the backstage area. We cut to a camera of Jericho walking backstage, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, LA Knight jumps from behind a box or something and starts to beat on Chris Jericho and tells him, if you want to be a star tonight, then you're going to have to go through the megastar. So we get those two fighting. They get pulled apart, and we get the teaser for a match later on tonight. So this is where we transition into our first women's match, a fatal 4-way ladder match for the WWE Women's Championship. This match is going to include Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Britt Baker, and Saraya. This time, Jericho's nowhere to be found. Jericho can't get involved. This is a straight up match. Give me good wrestling. Give me 20 minutes of these girls just going at it. And at the end of this match, I want Charlotte with her hand raised. I want things to kind of feel like they're turning in WWE's direction. You know, we flash up on the scoreboard. The score is AEW 2, WWE 1. It's still AEW's game, but there's a little bit of hope coming back into the building for WWE fans. So then we go to the next match, and we're going to do a trios tag title match. We're going to do Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn with Jey Uso. We're gonna go with that pairing, and then we're gonna go Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. And so KO, Sammy, and Jay, they can work the Elite stupid kind of over the top, fast paced style. So this is going to appease the IWC fans who have tuned into my show. We're gonna give them an AEW style match that they've been looking for. Kevin Owens can work AEW style. I'm assuming Sami Zayn will fit right in. Jey Uso can work any type of match. So we're giving them what they want. And we'll let this match go 10, 12 minutes before cut to the Judgment Day making an appearance. So Dom, Finn, and Damian show up. The match officially gets changed by Triple H to a triple threat trios match. And the Judgment Day dominates both of these teams, taking them both out, winning the AEW Trios title, standing in the ring, holding the titles above their head. Lights go off. House of Black appears, standing in the ring, face to face with the Judgment Day, setting up a match for a future event down the line. So now we're 2-2 at this point. WWE's tied it up. All is well in the WWE universe once again. And we cut to a backstage conversation between Tony Khan and Triple H. And they're talking about Chris Jericho, and they're talking about LA Knight, and they go, let's make it official. Send them out there. So the next match, LA Knight versus Chris Jericho. So both guys make their entrance. The building at this point is exploding because everybody's singing Jericho's song. Everybody's saying yeah for LA Knight, and the building is just electric. There's AEW, WWE chants going back and forth. The bell rings. Chris Jericho looks right into the camera and says, I don't know who this guy is. I'm better than this. And he starts heading back up the ramp. All of a sudden, Vince McMahon's music hits and Jericho's face just drops. Vince comes out and says, Jericho better learn who this guy is, and tells Jericho that this is now a lumberjack match and Jericho has to get his ass back in the ring. So lumberjacks from both sides surround the ring, both AEW and WWE. Each guy gets thrown out at one point. Jericho gets thrown out, beat up by some WWE guys. LA Knight gets thrown out, beat up by some AEW guys. And it leads to kind of an all-out brawl between all the lumberjacks, ultimately leading to LA Knight picking up the victory against Chris Jericho. At this point, the building, the energy is just crazy, right? It's WWE 3, AEW 2, and the building is electric. We're gonna have to cool everybody off after this match. So what we're going to go to is we're going to strip away all the gimmicks from the next match. And we're going to go straight up triple threat match. Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley. No gimmick needed here. Straight up match for the WWE Women's World title. The focus 100% in this match will be telling the story of Bianca and Jade double teaming Rhea Ripley for most of the match, creating kind of a weird synergy between AEW and WWE that hasn't been seen before between the two companies. But ultimately, as the match starts to wind down, we get to the finish. Jade is going to turn on Bianca, costing her the match and allowing Rhea Ripley to pick up the victory, leaving room later on for when Jade Cargill finally decides to leave AEW and come to WWE. Her and Bianca can pick up right where they left off in this story. So at this point, it's WWE 4, AEW 2. We're heading into the 7th match of the night. This is my time filler. Gunther versus Orange Cassidy. This is going to be a straight up squash match. This is going to be the match where Triple H leaves his imprint on the night. This is where WWE reigns supreme and really shows they are the bigger, badder company. Match starts. Orange Cassidy walks up to Gunther, puts his hands in his pocket, starts doing the cute little leg kicks. Gunther just shakes his head, clotheslines the hell out of Orange Cassidy, picks him up, power bombs him like he did Chad Gable, and pins him immediately. Perfect time filler. Whatever time you need to fill in this time that you have left, you get it here. Gunther squash match winner. And now we're going to head into our main event. And there's only one main event. There's only one main event of the WWE Forbidden Door Premium Live event, and that is the reunion of The Shield. Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus Jon Moxley. No DQ, false count anywhere for the undisputed WWE Heavyweight Champion. Now, this has to be epic. There has to be near falls. There has to be blood. Moxley has to have like barbecue skewers and pencils and pins sticking out of his head. All three of these guys laying in the middle of the ring covered in blood. Just absolute savage, wrestling going on in this ring. And then as we get to the end of this match, we have a moment where all three guys are laying down. They've all been knocked out. They have nothing left in the gas tank. And Roman starts to rise to his feet, and he looks over and he says, "Wise man, throw me my belt." And Heyman, and he looks sad, and he looks at the tribal chief, and he says, "I'm so sorry, my tribal chief." And Roman looks confused, and he turns around and he sees somebody in a black hood. Boom, GTS. Roman is out. CM Punk turns around, head kicks Moxley. Moxley falls out of the ring. CM Punk drags Seth Rollins on top of Roman Reigns. 1, 2, 3. We have a new undisputed WWE champion. Paul Heyman gets in the ring, looks at CM Punk, hugs him, screams, "I missed you, old friend." Seth Rollins rises up at this point, not really knowing what happened. He looks at CM Punk. He's confused. And he walks over to CM Punk and he gets up in his face. And they stare at each other for about 30 seconds before Seth starts his maniacal laugh, reaches his hand out. CM Punk pulls him in. They hug. CM Punk raises Seth Rollins' arm as we roll to credits and cut to black with a new faction headed off by Paul Heyman, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins. That's how you book a premium live event. All right, so topic number 2 this week is a little more serious than fantasy booking here. My second topic comes directly from the hot take video that I posted earlier this week that blew up on YouTube and absolutely set the IWC on fire. I got so many comments saying the exact same thing with no explanation, just the same comment telling me, what are you talking about? CM Punk deserved to be fired. And as I sit here reflecting as a proud member of the casual wrestling community, I feel honestly a little saddened by the current state of the internet wrestling fandom in 2023. I'm even genuinely perplexed, you could say, slightly curious that I thought it might be a good idea if I took this time this week to, instead of ranting about this, to extend an olive branch to the IWC and allow them to answer some of the questions I have in regards to how they view life and professional wrestling in general from the cold, damp basements of their parents' homes. Because I don't understand that mentality. I don't understand some of these comments that they're leaving me with no absolute explanation. So first and foremost, guys, IWC, I need some clarification on the CM Punk situation. Some of the comments I got seemed that the IWC tends to have amnesia to the way certain events went down over the course of CM Punk's AEW run. So correct me if I'm wrong here, IWC, but why do you guys ignore the fact that every situation CM Punk has been a part of in AEW has always been him in retaliation to something someone else did? How do you guys overlook that? So Hangman Adam Page goes into business for himself. CM Punk responds. Matt Jackson goes into an article and talks shit about CM Punk. CM Punk responds. The Young Bucks bust into Punk's locker room. CM Punk responds. Jack Perry mouths off about using real glass. CM Punk responds. The Elite most likely sabotage CM Punk's travel. CM Punk responds. Can you guys point me in the direction of the instance where CM Punk initiated the fight in AEW? Let me know, which one am I missing? Where's the one that he started, that he is the direct reason the fight started? Because I got a ton of comments saying, look at all the guys that CM Punk has a problem with. He's got a problem with the Young Bucks. He's got a problem with Jungle Boy. He's got a problem with Kenny Omega. He's got a problem with Hangman. Yeah, they're all cut from the same cloth. They're all just one guy. They're just different versions of the same IWC indie darling. You're talking about all of the guys who can't get over on mainstream wrestling shows, so they formed a little Mean Girls clique in AEW. Is that who we're referencing here? I just want to be clear, right? That CM Punk is the problem. It's not all of these guys who act as a unit. So explain to me, IWC. Explain to me Darby Allin then. What about Ricky Starks? What about Andrade? What about the guys who actually like CM Punk and didn't have a problem with them? You guys just tend to ignore those guys. You act like those guys don't exist. But another question. Here's another question. How do you guys convince yourself that AEW is somehow full of like wrestling rainbows and unicorns and CM Punk is a cancer that came in and fucked that whole thing up? I'm assuming that the IWC who come into my comment section and leave these type of comments have to all be under the age of 25. And they have no clue about the attitude era of wrestling and what that locker room was actually like and the type of things that went on behind the scenes in wrestling. And I know the comment's going to be, you old man, things don't work like that anymore. That's the 90s. Yeah, you're right. If this was the 90s, these issues would be non-existent. They would not be acknowledged. But let me ask the IWC this. Hypothetically, guys, put yourself in these shoes. You get a call from your boss that he wants to talk to you and a group of guys who have been trying to get you fired from your job. He wants to talk to both of y'all, and he wants to have y'all meet to try to squash the beef. And you go, sure, I'm open to that. I'll play that game. You pack your shit up, you're ready to go. Then all of a sudden, you get another call and it says, you know what, by the way, they don't want to do that. And you go, well, okay, but you're the boss. Why don't you just make them do that? No, they don't want to do that. So you go, okay, cool, whatever. I'll continue about my day. You've packed up all your bags. You're ready to go. You go all the way around the country. You're about to go to the biggest pay-per-view in the history of professional wrestling to an unfamiliar country. And when you get there, you assume you've been told you have travel arrangements to get you to your hotel. And you call that phone number, it doesn't work, and you end up getting lost in a foreign country. And it's wrestling fans that have to help you get to where you need to be. Now, I've actually gotten comments that say, CM Punk's a 40-year-old man. He needs help getting to where he needs to go. That's how business works. When you're a talent booked, there's typically a service that gets you to where you need to go. That is not one of the requirements that you are required to handle. Typically, if you knew that when you got there, you needed to get a car, you would have got that car on your own. But when you're told that that's something you need to do, it's a little more difficult when you just show up at an airport and now you're expected to get from point A to point B with absolutely no planning. It just doesn't work. I don't understand, IWC. How does this not irritate you guys? Just a little bit. That wouldn't irritate y'all just a little bit? Here's the problem. And this is the problem, because I have IWC friends in real life. I know you guys. These IWC friends, these are the type of guys that get on the phone and complain to Amazon when their Dungeon and Dragon figures don't come in on time. These are the guys that get on email and they type angry emails to Amazon because they're going to miss their level 5 wizard ceremony. You guys bitch and complain about tons of stuff. It's just not okay if it's CM Punk. So imagine it like this, IWC. Imagine CM Punk just missed his wizard ceremony. Does that make more sense to you guys? Where does this brash confidence come from? That AEW is just going to be okay. It's going to thrive now that CM Punk is gone. We never should have hired CM Punk. We were doing better without him. The biggest draw in your company, the biggest merchandise seller in your company. Yeah, you're going to have to help me. How many Kenny Omega shirts do you see out in the wild? How many people do you see wearing Young Bucks t-shirts? How many people are buying Hangman Adam Page toys? I saw Hangman Adam Page post a picture of CM Punk's action figure at Walmart on clearance, which obviously I'm sure he put there. But, just once again, that's not a problem, right? That's not a problem. That's not, that's not instigating at all. And I get it, IWC. I get when your mom pays your phone bill, it's hard to understand how business works, right? But without guys who bring in money, like CM Punk, it's hard to keep booking these shows. Help me out. Do you guys really enjoy watching 5'5" wrestlers get dropped on their heads every week? Or like 5'5" wrestlers dive backwards off the top ropes and hit their spines on metal caskets? This is a direct quote from Darby Allin. I'm not 100%. We had a show in London, biggest wrestling show of all time, 81,000 plus people, but I actually really messed my spine up. I'm trying to take it easy before Sunday for my championship match. My lower back is really banged up. At the show in Wembley, I jumped off the top rope and landed on a metal coffin on my lower spine. You guys enjoy that? Like, y'all get off on this kind of shit? Like, you enjoy the fact that Darby Allin probably won't be able to walk by the time he's 40. That's what you guys are excited for. Because I'm not going to lie. I went to a micro wrestling show a couple months ago over at my local wing place. And I actually thought for a second that I had stepped into Dynamite for a minute. I swore that the main event was Darby Allin versus Micro Brock Lesnar. I was highly mistaken. It actually was not Darby Allin, but the guy who was in the ring with Micro Brock Lesnar was actually the same height as Darby Allin. And all joking aside, do you guys just hate everything? Do you hate anything that's mainstream? CM Punk represents mainstream wrestling and you guys hate him. Are you guys just so hipster and so emo that you're such nonconformists that eventually you're going to conform? What it was with CM Punk, y'all were such nonconformists that when he left WWE, you conformed to liking CM Punk. Then when you realized that CM Punk still had the roots of a WWE wrestler, you turned on him. This is the divide between casual fans and IWC. The IWC will defend an AEW guy or the company or the Young Bucks. They'll defend all of those guys all the way until AEW's back in a high school gym wrestling in a ring held together by duct tape. You guys will defend it until it's absolutely nothing left. But you guys are wrong on this one. I will be very honest. CM Punk wasn't the problem. Does CM Punk possibly have a problem with authority? Yeah, lots of people do. That's been a thing in wrestling for forever. Does CM Punk have a firm belief in the way he believes things should be? Yeah, of course he does. But don't confuse that with being a cancer. Kenny Omega, Young Bucks, those guys that are EVPs while actively wrestling in a company, that's cancerous to a company. A guy who speaks up and speaks his mind but still wants to get young guys over, still puts the company first, that's not cancer. I guarantee that CM Punk wanted AEW to succeed far more than Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks do. When CM Punk was part of that company. The Young Bucks, the Elite, Kenny Omega, Adam Page, they just want to be recognized. They don't care about guys like MJF. They don't care about guys like Ricky Starks. Watch this whole Samoa Joe situation. Watch if they don't find a way to insert themselves into a story with Samoa Joe, because all of a sudden Samoa Joe's getting hot and he's rising up above what he's supposed to do. He's not staying in his place. And one of these guys will figure out a way to insert themselves into that story. Mark my words. All the Elite care about is if they are the main attraction and that everybody else falls in line and plays the undercard for them. And I know a lot of this rant was sarcastic, but I want real answers to some of these questions. I want real answers to questions like Kevin Neely 9006 telling me AEW doesn't need CM Punk. Okay, Kevin, explain to me, how do you make up those lost merch sales? How do you make up those lost ticket sales? How about Joseph Lopez 27 telling me, how many pay-per-view buys did they get for All Out this year? They'll be just fine. You want real numbers, Joseph? In 2021, All Out, 215,000 buys. CM Punk was on that card. 2022, All Out, 140,000 pay-per-view buys. CM Punk was on that card. 2023, that's being reported right now as over 100,000 buys, which I assume means we barely broke 100,000 buys. That's a decline, guys. The minute CM Punk's not on a card, people are turning the TV off. Collision had 350,000 viewers this week before it was announced that CM Punk was fired from the company. By the end of the episode, it had fallen down to 250,000 viewers. 100,000 people tuned out because of no CM Punk. Collision has no reason to exist without CM Punk. You guys can try to convince me otherwise. It's not real. The show is going to be pulled. WB is not going to continue to run two Rampage and Collision consecutively to these low-ass numbers. They're not going to do it. WB did this show because of CM Punk, and they're not going to let this continue. Look at, even Dynamite is going to suffer. I saw that floor seats to Dynamite tonight were $20. $20. Compare that to this Friday SmackDown. To get a floor seat, it's $245. You guys are going to have to understand that at the end of the day, wrestling is a business, and AEW is not trending in the right direction, especially after firing your biggest asset as a company. But hey, look, if you guys are happy, IWC, being a mid-tier indie company, that's fine. I will leave you guys alone. But stop getting mad when people like Triple H refer to you as a second-rate wrestling company, because that's what you are. You're a circus. You're a carnival. You're not the big times. You're not the main show in town. Stop trying to tell us we're bigger in certain markets. No, you're not. No, you're not. You just show up there once every 4 years and people get excited. And one last thing to sum this entire thing up. I saw a guy in my comment section, for no absolute reason, write a 100% serious comment that said Jon Moxley would beat up Brock Lesnar in a shoot fight. What the fuck are y'all talking about? All right, topic number 3 comes from Mike in Boston. Mike in Boston asks, if you could create a new faction in WWE right now consisting of a main event star, a mid-carder, a tag team, a female superstar, and a legend as a manager, who would they be and what would the faction's name be? These are fun. These are fun questions. I like doing these. It gives me a chance to be creative and kind of, dig deeper into my storytelling abilities. But let's do this. Let's do this systematically. Let's do it logically. You don't want to pick anybody who's already hot or already on the rise, because that's not how faction works. Faction are usually used to build guys up who need a push. And Mike added a few extra moving parts here that I don't necessarily think that all factions need, which is, I don't think you have to have a mid-carder. I don't think you have to have a manager. I think that this strict, I'm going to stick to it, but this strict kind of main event guy, mid-carder, tag team, female, and manager, that's a big group of people. And it's hard to make that work cohesively, but I'm going to do my best. And what I'm going to do one better for you guys. I'm going to create this faction, and I'm going to do it in kayfabe. I'm going to use it and insert it into actual WWE storylines that's going on right now. So let's pick up with Sammy and KO dropping the tag team titles because at Payback, they were just absolutely overwhelmed by the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day just had too many numbers. So the first thing that KO and Sammy do is they come out Monday Night Raw, grab a microphone, and they make a plea to Edge. And they say, Edge, we need you to come back. We need one last run. You created this Judgment Day. We need you to help us destroy this Judgment Day. So Edge comes out, Edge accepts and says, look, if we're going to do this, we're going to have to put a team together. So all of a sudden, here we go. If we're starting to look at the bones of my faction here, right off the bat, we have a main eventer in Edge, and we have a tag team in Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. So now we need a mid-carder. This is something I'm not real fond of, but for the sake of this segment, let's throw a mid-carder in here, but let's go real wild on our mid-carder. Let's reach out. Let's go. I want to grab Tyler Breeze. I know that's an interesting person, but I've always thought Tyler Breeze was underutilized in WWE, and I think he deserves an opportunity. And if you see where I'm going here with the people I'm picking, it'll make more sense in a minute. But I think if you brought back Tyler Breeze and gave him the ability to be a little bit of a comic relief within this faction, I think it works. Let him be a little more serious as well and give him a proper run that he deserves. So now looking at the bones of this thing, I have Edge, KO, Sami Zayn, and Tyler Breeze. And if you haven't caught on by now, it's pretty obvious that this is a Canadian faction being put together here to go up against the Judgment Day. So all logic would point to either grabbing Natalya or Trish Stratus at this point, because it's obvious I'm now naming this faction Northern Lights. It's all Canadian. It's a Canadian dynasty. But I'm going to do something a little off the beaten path here, and I'm going to cheat the system a little bit because this is wrestling, and we can tell the story how we want to tell it. And instead of picking Natalya or Trish Stratus, I'm going to go Canadian by proxy, and I'm going to add Beth Phoenix to this group, because when you're lining up Judgment Day against this new Northern Lights faction, the only thing that makes sense is for a Rhea Ripley Beth Phoenix match at some point during this feud. So now we have Edge, KO, Sammy, Tyler Breeze, and Beth Phoenix. That's it. That's the faction. That's all I need, but I'm going to play by the rules. So I don't think you need anybody to manage this group. Everybody in this group can talk. So if I had to throw a manager into this mix, I'm not going to go the obvious route. Everybody's going to be going, it's Bret Hart. It's Bret Hart. Nah, we're not doing Bret Hart. Bret Hart's too negative for this group of talented wrestlers. I'm going to instead go with Jimmy Hart. And what I'm going to do is I'm only going to use Jimmy Hart on one episode. And that episode is Jimmy Hart kind of getting everybody together and rallying the troops. And that's it. So Jimmy Hart's going to show up. He's going to rally the troops. Now I know everybody's saying Jimmy Hart's not Canadian, but Jimmy Hart's nickname was the Canadian Whisperer. So it works. Stay with me. This is wrestling. So I want him to come in for one segment, bring the group together. Then I want him to fade away into obscurity, and I keep that core group together. And we run this group all the way to Survivor Series, and we do a Northern Lights versus Judgment Day. We do a Beth Phoenix versus Rhea Ripley at some point. We finish this thing off with Edge and Finn Balor and Edge finally creating the destruction of the Judgment Day and causing them to implode. Let's do it at WrestleMania. Edge wins that match. We get a thank you Edge chant, and Edge rides off into the sunset of wrestling retirement. But I think that works. So my faction, the Northern Lights faction, Edge, KO, Sami Zayn, Tyler Breeze, Beth Phoenix, and Jimmy Hart for one episode. You guys let me know if that works. All right, so I'm going to try something a little different for this segment. In this segment, I'm going to be letting the wrestling gods select my mixed tag team partner. If anybody didn't know, I do have a history of wrestling. I try not to bring it up often, but for a short stint in time, deep down in the heart of Mexico, I was known as El Tesoro Blanco, the masked white wrestler, also known as the White Treasure. I know a lot of people don't know that. I don't like to talk about it, but you could probably Google it and find it somewhere. There's some pictures of it out there somewhere. But I'm gonna bring El Tesoro Blanco back for this mixed tag team challenge moving forward, and I'm gonna let the wrestling gods select who my tag team partner is moving forward. So the way this is going to work, I have a bracket fight right here. You guys can see that over to the side. I have a spinning wheel here with a bunch of different options. It has choose off of looks, choose off of the worst wrestler, choose the best wrestler. It's free choice, the top choice, and the bottom choice. So using that spinning wheel, we are going to come to terms with who is going to be my mixed tag team partner. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first match here, we have Raquel Rodriguez versus Bayley. I'm going to spin the wheel. And the wheel comes to choosing, based off wrestling skills, who is the better wrestler between Bayley and Raquel Rodriguez? I'm going to go, I think it's Bayley. I think that's the correct choice there. So round one, we're going Bayley there. Second match is Zelina Vega versus Alexa Bliss. Wheel spin. Let's see what we get here. This is worst wrestler. I hate that. I don't like. This is going to get me in trouble. We're going Zelina Vega. I definitely think that Alexa Bliss is the better of the two wrestlers. Next, we have Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. This could be controversial if we get a skill-based choice here. I think people might not love my choice. Oh, shit. Okay, so this is based on wrestling skills here. Oh, straight up wrestling skills, I got to go Charlotte Flair. I want to go Becky Lynch. I think if it was microphone skills, I'd go Becky Lynch, but I think based on straight up wrestling skills, I have to go Charlotte Flair. Next match is Asuka versus Carmella. The wheel has spoken, and we are choosing the bottom, which is Carmella. Ooh, that's rough. Asuka with a round one upset there. So coming out of the Western Division here, we have Bayley, Zelina Vega, Charlotte, and Carmella. I'm still comfortable with two of those choices. I think if I get Bayley or Charlotte, I'll be fine in any match against anybody, but I don't love the idea of tagging with Zelina or Carmella. Let's go the other side. On the other side, we have Aaliyah and Dakota Kai in the first round. And let's see, the wheel is going. Worst wrestler. Well, that's got to go to Aaliyah. Sorry, Aaliyah, but that's the truth. The next match is Chelsea Green and Rhea Ripley. This should be easy here. This is based off looks. This isn't good. This isn't good. I'm not a fan of Rhea Ripley's look. I know a lot of people are, but I'm not. I don't want to do this because I feel like it's self-sabotage, but based on looks, I'm going Chelsea Green here. For the next one, we have Bianca Belair, and why is Bayley on here twice? We have Bayley on here twice. That's not good, but we're going to do it anyway. Wrestling skills, we'll go Bianca Belair just because of what happened on the other side. That's weird. Didn't know she was on here twice. Spin the wheel again. We have Maxine Dupree and Liv Morgan. This is wrestling skills. That's Liv Morgan. All right, so we have an Elite Eight now. Elite Eight, we've got Bayley, Zelina Vega, Charlotte Flair, Carmella, Aaliyah, Chelsea Green, Bianca Belair, and Liv Morgan. I'm still pretty confident here. I still feel like I can make out pretty well. I definitely right now am hoping to end up with Charlotte, Bayley, Bianca, Liv Morgan on the outside of that one. We'll see. Let's move on. Okay, first match of the semifinals in the Western Conference here. Spin the wheel. The wrestling gods are speaking. Choose the bottom. Well, there goes Bayley. Zelina Vega makes her way to the next round, and this is not looking good. I don't love this. Let's go Charlotte versus Carmella. I still have Bianca available and Liv Morgan. Hopefully Charlotte here. What do we got? Worst wrestler. Oh no. This is bad. This is bad. So now coming out of the western side of the bracket, we have Zelina Vega and Carmella. There's still hope on the right side of this thing, guys. I still can get Liv Morgan or Bianca Belair, but the Western Conference is looking rough. I'm gonna spin the wheel here this is Aaliyah versus Chelsea Green. The wrestling gods have spoken. They say choose the top. I got Aaliyah. This is not good. This is not good at all. This is bad. Let's spin the wheel. Let's spin it. I'm not ready to spin it, but let's spin it. What do we got here? Based off looks, Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair. Now, most people gonna go Liv Morgan. Anybody who knows me knows that's a Bianca Belair win. I'm good. I'm safe here. I've got a 25% chance I end up with the proper partner. Problem is, it's not... The wrestling gods aren't with me right now. Let's spin the wheel. Western Conference Championship here. Zelina Vega versus Carmella. This is based on looks. Ooh, that's rough. Ooh, who do you pick here? Who do you pick? Zelina Vega or Carmella? Based on looks. It's Zelina. I'm going Zelina. Zelina Vega in the championship rounds here. Let's go Aaliyah versus Bianca Belair. Spin the wheel. Eastern Conference Finals. It's worst wrestler. It's worst wrestler. Championship here. This is not what I wanted. This is definitely not what I wanted. We've got Zelina Vega versus Aaliyah to decide who is my mixed tag team partner. This has gone so bad. At this point, I don't know what to say. Free choice. Free choice. What do you pick here? It's got to be, you go Zelina, right? Yeah, I'm going Zelina. Zelina Vega, my mixed tag team partner. Not exactly who I wanted. That's definitely not who I wanted. So that is definitely not the outcome I was looking for. It looks like El Tesoro Blanco will be tag teaming with Zelina Vega. I will pin the link to the bracket fight in the comment section of this video. Go ahead and fill out your own and let me know who your tag team partner will be when we meet up in the mixed tag challenge. But that is it for this week, guys. Thank you for watching. Make sure to check out The Champ and the Chick. It posts every Monday morning. Make sure to keep hitting the like button, keep hitting the subscribe button. You guys help grow the channel. Tell your friends to tell friends to watch the show. Spam the casual community every chance you get. Make sure to check out the Raw post show and the SmackDown post show on their respective nights. And as always, I am the Notorious NerdyD. You guys keep it casual. I'm tapping out.
Step in the ring, if you ready, let's go. Hey, casual wrestling community show. You already know, talking WWE. Keep it rolling and hosted by Notorious NerdyD. Dope a show that you gon' find. Tune in cause it's online. Hit 'em with a figure 4 leg lock, power driver or clothesline. We bringing that heat like for show.